Welcome back. This afternoon, you're listening to the Todd Laborowitz Show, Real Estate Radio and Salem Broadcast Network, WRC 1260 AM. I am your host, Todd Laborowitz, and we are now speaking with Suzanne Fields, owner-broker of United Real Estate in Great Falls, Virginia. She's duly licensed in Maryland and Virginia, licensed and working in real estate over 35 years, beginning with home builders in Maryland after college, moved on to custom homes and land in Arizona, hailing from Kansas with farm roots originally due to the military family and her own aviation career, lived all over the U.S., naturally ending back in Washington, D.C. as an aviation lobbyist. She now owns an office in Northern Virginia that promotes land, luxury homes, and commercial with a sharp eye for investments. The brokerage is full service, handling anything under the real estate umbrella. She prides herself on ethics and can make deals with a handshake. Suzanne has highly coveted accredited land consultant designation AC or ALC, and also the CHRE for short sales and foreclosure rescues to assist those in need. Well, Susan, what is the ALC and the CHRE for our listeners?
ALC is sort of the sister to the CCIM, which is a very coveted designation for the commercial brokers. And you have to have so many multi-millions of dollars in sales and a very extensive education to obtain that CCIM, which is the same for the ALC. It stands for Accredited Land. The National Association of Realtors is promoting it and has been promoting it. There are only 495 ALCs in the United States. There are 200 ALCs who have a CCIM.
That's a high honor.
It was fabulous education, and the network that was attached to it is incredible.
So if someone's shopping around for a real estate agent and they see that ALC versus someone that doesn't have it, you're going to know that you have a more powerful real estate agent.
You're hoping they learn that, because It does take time to educate the public. There's a lot of designations that people list across their
I've noticed that as
cards.
People come on the show. Is there like a website people can go to that actually they can say, all right, I'm looking for a real estate agent. I got to decode this.
Mm-hmm. You can look them up.
Okay, so just a Google search.
Right. And some of them are just designations that they just took one class.
Right.
But the CCIM is very serious, and so is the ALC.
And you're one of 490. So you also work with builders and developers to locate large pieces of land. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Correct. I do look for larger development properties. Many times that's hundreds of acres, thousands of acres in our Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. And I do the research up to a certain point, and so that I can not waste their time. And then they know that they could yield so many lots and they could build residential homes. And then, of course, there you go. We're now in the residential market. And we also, as United Real Estate, one of our new marketing rollouts is that we are marketing and listing for those projects. Probably not as likely for the large Ryan Homes or Toll Brothers because they already have in-house marketing, but for the middle and the smaller builder who would need that marketing service, and we have the expertise behind us.
And they got great quality work.
Yes, and there's a lot of different builders out there, and there's a lot to learn. So when people are out looking for those homes, those are the things that we work on. And I've been doing this for so many years that it's easy to tell where the potholes are.
Very nice. You're like a whole nother angle of real estate.
Well, this is a fun part, actually. The land is very fun, and of course it always relates back to a residential home in some manner.
Now, when I first met, we were talking about teardowns in Virginia, them being very popular. And can you go into that a little bit further? Because it's a hot product, the teardowns.
It's a very hot product, and especially in our area. The reason it started is people started realizing that if you buy correctly, that you can actually have some instant equity, potentially. There's times when you don't, and it's just a straight out build. What we did, and one of my agents, who I knew actually as a developer and a builder, he started up a company called newhomepros.net, which is underneath our brokerage. And it is a fantastic service that nobody else is offering. And his name is Greg Herbst. He is the principal. He can talk to this even more detail than I can.
Well, we might have to have him on the show.
You might have to ask him because he's a wealth of information. But one of the things we found is that people were going and trying to find their own lots, which is very difficult to do here. And then they were getting hooked up with builders that may or may not have known exactly what they were doing, or even if they were the good ones, it wasn't the right match for them. There's a lot that goes on to custom building where you can lose a lot of money if you don't have somebody watching.
And this is a special niche for you.
Mm-hmm, it is.
Perfect. Well, by the way, if you're just tuning in, I have with me Suzanne Fields, owner-broker of United Real Estate in Great Falls, Virginia. I'm your host, Todd Laborowitz, and you're listening to Salem Broadcast Network, WRC 1260 AM. Now, Suzanne, you are an owner-broker of United Real Estate in Great Falls, Virginia. And United Real Estate is new to the Washington, D.C. area. And you're a powerful real estate agent in the area. So it's a good pick. How did you choose them out of all the other real estate companies in the area?
That's a great question. I was, like many brokers, when the real estate market had a downturn, vetted by just about every real estate company to become their broker. I already had an office in Great Falls under a different brokerage name. And when United Real Estate came to town, when I found out about their background, I said that is the perfect combination for me. Their sister company is United Country, opened in 1925, and they have 500 offices nationally and internationally. But mostly they were selling land. And I knew I couldn't just sell land, and because I sold homes, and I did development deals in the metropolitan area, and I knew my agents wanted to be involved in that. So when United Country realized they needed a metropolitan urban division, they started opening offices in 2011 in national different metropolitan areas. So they started in Dallas, then Houston, and then eventually Washington, D.C. And I became their only satellite office. And the reason is that we basically are supporting the Washington, D.C. office, but we are, as you have already mentioned, focused on specialties.
Now, is those specialties roll into their new concept?
Perfectly. Perfectly, it rolls into their new concept because they have what they're trying to help agents make more money. And so they built the larger cafe-style offices with food available and a bar and everything so that you could bring your customers in there, have a really nice place to go, but still work out of your own offices, so you weren't home offices, so you weren't wasting money, and neither were they.
So keeping the overhead low,
Mm-hmm.
keeping the client's experience exciting,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot less stressful.
Right.
And bringing in the high-end real estate agents that want to go after the niche market.
Right.
It's a fascinating niche.
It is, and it's really such a fun part of real estate. And one of the things people don't realize is, your real estate investment usually is your largest investment, and others are investing as primary or additional income. But in short, you need those experts, just like I wouldn't try to sell software.
Absolutely. In this area,
Yeah.
you can only build it up
Right.
or tear down and rebuild.
Right.
I know in Montgomery County we're running out of land.
Well, and that's a huge thing, and you'd mentioned that earlier, and we didn't finish talking about it. The tear down is a huge business right now because we have such valuable land in Bethesda and Potomac and McLean and Great Falls, et cetera, and anywhere in Fairfax and Montgomery County, basically.
Well, we're going to have to talk further after the show because as far as I'm concerned, I'm not familiar with that. It seems like you've got some good spots to find for tear downs and for your clients.
Yes, and you do have to be careful because there's some lots that could cost you a lot of money.
That's what's terrifying.
Right, after you bought it and you think,
And then there's no well.
There's no well, that's right.
Or septic.
Exactly.
Well, let me ask you a question. On your website, you have a thing called newhomepros.net. How does that connect to custom building?
Well, and as I had mentioned earlier, the newhomepros.net, takes in a customer who needs help, who wants to start finding that tear down or that lot. And then we also hook them up with any builder that they want, or we work with a builder they may have chosen as their real estate representative. And we help them circumvent around wasted money, directions, where that we've already gone through those mistakes, so we can help them.
Okay. And do you do a lot of construction perms, or do they do a construction loan and then a regular loan?
We do a lot of construction perms. And then you have people who just want to buy the lot and hold on to it for a couple of years. That's what I personally did years ago. And then I built later. It just depends on what you're doing. Now, what's really interesting is there are a lot of customers who end up not building and end up buying a house.
Wonderful. Well, Suzanne Fields, thank you so much for being here. If you wish to get in touch with Suzanne Fields, please give me a call at 301-467-8444. That number again is 301-467-8444. Coming up next, we have Theresa Testoni.
You don't go through life with a paralyzing fear every time you have a financial transaction. So why is applying for a mortgage so scary? At Topaz Mortgage with Todd Laborwit, it is about educating and empowering you to get from point A to point B. Todd provides you with his exact closing cost, best interest rate, then invites you to shop around. Plus, if you call with questions, Todd picks up with the answers. Learn more at whytopaz.com. They are industry experts that care. Topaz Mortgage, NMLS 131548, licensed by the Virginia State Corporation Commission, MC 5344, Washington, D.C., MLB 131548, Maryland 18330, Todd Laborwit, NMLS 131497.